You. Oh my goodness.
So that's a thing now.
You started it.
You started
You
it.
pointed it out.
I did point it out. Oh my goodness. Welcome to another episode of Sister Sharpens Sister. And I just realized the other day that I hadn't been introducing myself, and you've just been kind of having to figure out who's who by us talking to one another. I'm Karen.
I'm Shalon.
I'm Dee Dee.
That's Dee Dee.
Yeah. Or Delana, whichever.
Yeah, she goes by both.
Yeah. I'll answer to either.
Yeah. We get together almost every week and we talk about this and that and the other thing, and we're always trying to learn something new. And we recently did a pretty extended series on food and additives in food in America here not too long ago. And there's a playlist on YouTube, and I will link that up in whatever corner is appropriate. And what we decided to do for this week was talk about pet food. And my part of the research, I just mainly talked about or looked up dogs and cats. I didn't look up like fish food or rabbit food or anything like that. But the very first question that came across my mind was, why do we have pets to begin with? So the American Pet Products Association conducted a survey in 2023 and 2024, and they found that 66% of American households own a pet. And that's around 86.9 million Americans owning a pet.
I actually thought that would be higher.
Yeah, I did too. And it also shocked me just a little bit that the most popular pet is actually a dog. I thought it was cats.
No, I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not surprised either.
Dogs are the most common pet with 65.1 million. Cats are second with 46.5 million. And freshwater fish. They're still working on the house if you're hearing banging and sawing and all that good stuff. Freshwater
They
fish.
need to rest on Sunday.
Well, actually, they've been resting during the week.
I was going to say, I think they work on it is the weekend.
It's the weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's the owners working on it, I can understand the weekend. Yeah.
Especially if they have another job that pays the bills.
Yes.
Freshwater fish is the third most common, most popular pet with 11.1 million. And millennials is the current age group with the largest amount of pet ownership at 33%. And I think that's why we've seen a big push here recently for pet food brands like the ones that are in the refrigerator that come in those like hamburger roll things. Fresh pet. Right? And that's why we're seeing a push for that, because millennials typically are more aware of what companies are doing, what they're throwing into the food.
Health conscious.
Yeah. A little more health conscious. Home owners are more likely to own a pet than renters are, with 56% compared to 38%. And I think that goes to the fact that not a lot of people who own rental property want you to have pets.
Allow it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Like when Tim and I were first married and we had an apartment, we had to pay extra to have a pet.
Right. There's a pet cleaning deposit. And did you have to pay extra per month?
Yeah, it was a little extra per month to have a dog.
So that's crazy. The majority of American pet owners also think of their pets as family members. And I do. My dog, Flynn, who will hop up in our laps every once in a while. He is currently out with his dad going for a nice long walk. But he's a member of the family.
I see that. Oh, yeah. I see that with dogs and cats and maybe rodents, but fish,
not so much.
I don't know if I
Well,
can fish a family member.
Right.
what you see, for me, and I have nothing against people having fish as pets or pigs, but the thing is that if I will have it for lunch, I'm not going to have it as a pet.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I
I was
see.
like, I
So,
don't fish to pigs.
Right.
oh,
So you,
so I and I like fish and it's very relaxing and everything, but I have a problem having an animal as a pet if I would eat it.
But that's the thing. It's like I don't think that you would eat an angelfish.
Well, probably not, but if push come to shove and I'm starving, I would be more likely to eat that angelfish before I would my pet dog.
Oh well, yeah, yeah.
So I just yeah I just I so I'm if I'm gonna have a pet, it's gonna be either a cat or a dog.
Now,
yeah,
would you raise a pig for food?
Yes, my husband and I have talked about that.
yeah. But that's just some interesting facts that I pulled out about, why we even have
I
pets.
like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go back into like the first domesticated dog happened in caveman days. That's go look it up. You can go do that yourself. But I went into the side of food about the quality of pet food and long term health.
Mm-hmm.
I will link a couple of articles that I have referenced. The first one being written in December of 2024 called The Impact of Pet Food Quality on Long Term Health. Now, poor quality pet food is often very poorly digestible, or it may just flat out contain ingredients that are harmful or just not good for your pet in general. Now, according to the American Kennel Club, the AKC, pet foods with a digestibility of less than 75% are considered to be poor quality. I was like, okay, digestibility of pet food. That is measured by feeding a set amount of food to a pet, and with the AKC, it was dogs. They fed a certain amount of food to a dog, and then they analyze their feces, and they determine how much pre-eaten and post-eaten they look for, like protein, fat, fiber, and things like that. And those results are used to calculate the percentage of nutrients that get digested and absorbed. And measuring the digestibility is important because nutrients that are not bioavailable can be an issue for pets and their health.
Do they do this for humans?
I doubt it.
Like, how digestible is a Twinkie?
How much of it actually gets digested and used, right? Ingredients like meat meal, render fat, and propylene glycol can be harmful. Now, propylene glycol is considered to be generally recognized as safe, and foods that are considered GRAS, GRAS, which is something that we talked about in our people food episodes, is determined by the FDA. But propylene glycol is a clear, almost odorless, viscous liquid with a slightly sweet taste. It's also used in human foods, cosmetics, topical, oral, and IV medications. Now, similar to heavily processed people food, heavily processed pet foods can have the same effects on pets as it does on people. Those diets often contain low quality proteins with grains as a main or a secondary ingredient. And low quality protein is a protein that is often a plant derived protein, and it's ones that lack essential amino acids and ones that are sometimes difficult to digest. Many processed pet foods also contain a long list of preservatives, synthetic vitamins, and additives like dyes, as well as other chemicals that they just kind of throw in there. I mean, didn't we talk one time about with people food that was it baby formula they were adding sawdust to at one point?
Oh, I don't remember.
In the 40s or
Way
something.
back when,
Yeah.
as a filler.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was baby food or not.
Another issue that heavily processed foods are often overcooked. And that is so that they can break down ingredients like meat and connective tissues and bone. And that makes the essential nutrients that are in those items practically disappear. So if you think about overcooking a hamburger, you go from meat to basically charcoal. Right?
I mean,
You overcook it to the point
like really
you can use it like a hockey puck. Those heavily processed foods also have a high quantity of cheap filler ingredients like corn, wheat, soy, and beet pulp. And that's not pure corn, pure wheat. These are byproducts um, after those foods have been processed and used for other things. It's the byproducts of these that are getting added to our pet foods. And they put that in to help the kibble hold its shape. So, like if they're little triangles or, rainbows, stars, and clovers, and diamonds, and whatever.
Bones.
Oh, just a little note here. Your dog does not care if its kibble is shaped like a triangle.
Exactly.
It doesn't care if it has color either.
Exactly.
No, it does not. That's all for us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because if it's cute or like, oh, look, it's little bone shapes, or oh, look, they're little skulls for Halloween, whatever. Pet food regulation does exist in the United States, and Delana's going to cover some of that. But there are loopholes in those regulations that allow some companies to add those low quality and even harmful ingredients and get by with it. And that's downright just ugly.
It's not good business.
Not when people find out about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like with people, proper nutrition is vital for your pet in order for them to have good health, in order for them to have longevity. So a wide range of problems can happen if they're not being properly fed and taken care of, like obesity. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, I didn't know there was such a thing until I started looking this up, in 2022 did a survey that over half of pets are obese. Over half of that 89 million, with 59% being dogs and 61% being cats. That's a large percentage. Obesity can be caused by overfeeding, lack of exercise, genetics, or a high-fat diet, or a combination of all of those. Dental issues is also another thing that can crop up if you're not properly feeding your pet, because you've got to have the minerals and stuff that help build strong bones and teeth in the food. So poor quality diets can contribute to that, as well as an abundance of oral bacteria that will like cause cavities and bad breath and things like that. Now, when you were a vet tech, did you see a lot of poor dental hygiene?
Oh yeah, I was the one who did the cleanings on the dogs and the cats.
How many of those would you do a week, would you say?
Well, it was Florida, so it was pretty seasonal.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
So, when the snowbird season was around, there was a lot more going on, and I could have them daily.
Really?
Yeah. But then, sometimes 2 or 3 a day. And then, when it comes summertime, when it's just the Florida folk around, everybody, leaves because of the weather, it's too hot. It would slow down quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, during season, it would get quite busy.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
What was the worst case that you had? Can you think of one?
Usually the worst were small dogs and cats.
I wonder why that is.
And it would usually be a case of wet food.
Oh, okay.
where the animal was consuming a lot of wet food, and a lot of cat food is wet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I, I remember feeding wet food to the cats we had when I was growing up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Not so much dogs, but
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for the dry food for your pet,
it helps to,
like clean the
spray.
teeth.
Yeah, it helps us keep the plaque from building up.
Mm. What do you think about those dental chews?
Doc would recommend them. I mean, I don't know if they work or not.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing to hear that your veterinarian recommended them.
But yeah, he did. He did. And he didn't get any kind of kickback from any company about that, but he liked them.
Okay.
So
So another issue that is this is actually a people issue, and this did not start happening until just recently. We started having our pets diagnosed with diabetes, which is typically a people problem, not a pet problem.
we would see that in older animals.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
genetics, obesity, and poor diet contribute to that. And the signs to watch out for: lethargy, increased thirst,
Yeah.
unexplained weight loss, and frequent urination. If
Wanting
you're
to drink a lot of water.
lots and lots, if your pet has any of that, to the vet.
And their
Go.
urine would smell different. It would smell sweet.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely. And another thing with improper nutrition is your urinary tract health, specifically for cats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you're not really careful with your cat and making sure that they're drinking enough and eating the right kinds of food, urinary tract infections can lead to bladder stones, kidney issues.
Yeah, there were certain foods that would make the cats develop urinary crystals, is what the doc would call them. And we would frequently have to go in and catheterize them and clear it out
Out of the bladder.
so they could pee. Because it would get to where they can't pee
Oh,
because
wow.
they were blocking it. And we actually did 2 or 3 surgeries where we took a male cat and turned it into a female. It's not really a sex change, but we
Right.
would have to open up um the
Urethra.
male, yeah, the male urethra, and make it bigger like a female's, because it was mostly the boy cats you would see that in.
Oh, okay. I was unaware that
At
it was
least
mostly boy cats.
at least in the practice that I experienced.
Right. Well, I can't imagine it would be drastically different from, you know, veterinary service to veterinary service. Good nutrition, just like for people, for our pets, leads to better sleep, better digestion, improved immune function, and healthier skin and coat. Of course, for people, we don't call it skin and coat. We call hair, nails, and skin. It reduces the risk of diseases such as diabetes, periodontal disease, and kidney disease, which we just talked about. And it also reduces the risk of arthritis.
Inflammation.
Yeah, which is ready to
Mhm.
say is that if people paid more attention, inflammation, it could lead to a reduction of arthritis.
Yeah, and if you have a big dog, arthritis, especially in their hips, tends to be a problem with some big dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like shepherds. I remember the German shepherd we had as a kid got so bad in his lower back and his back legs that he was dragging them. And he had to be put down. Yeah. It also means fewer vet visits, which means that the cost of medical treatment for your pet is less when you take care of them, which is prevention is worth a, what's the saying about
I don't know.
prevention
I don't know.
and cure, a pound of cure, something like that. And the pets that are better taken care of live longer. That just goes without saying.
I'm thinking, what is the Dee Dee, what's the quote from Steel Magnolias? An ounce of pretension's worth a pound of manure.
That's funny. Now, when you are choosing your pet food, there are a number of things to be considered. Number one is the breed of your pet. Like if you have a large breed dog, it's going to require more calories than a teacup chihuahua. Per
Yes.
Also active pets. Like if you have a Jack Russell, it's going to require more calories than say a Lhasa Apso or a Shih Tzu because they're just a highly active dog.
Well, also if you actually work your dog for what they're meant for.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you have a working dog, it's out on your farm.
Right, like a border collie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what, my husband and I have work dogs. They're not our pets. They're work dogs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm sure you guys are putting out a pretty penny for pet food.
Yeah, he gets good quality pet food because, we want our little farm to be safe. And
yeah,
these dogs, the one we have who's not considered fully grown yet because she's still not 2 years old, but I can't imagine even a person would be able to come in and harm anything we have on our little tiny farm here.
so that's kind of awesome.
Yes. Yeah, because she...
Two that are almost full size and one that's a puppy, right?
Well, no, we have one that's almost a year old, and she won't be fully grown until she's 2. And we have 2 that are pups.
Okay.
So they're learning because they're already starting to bark at stuff just like she does. So they're learning from her. So, and there are times when one of them will bark and alert her that something's going on.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah, because they're working as a team, which if you have work dogs like that, depending on the size of your farm and what you got going on and everything, you're going to be better off to have more than one, to at least have 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and them working together as a team makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You also need to consider the age of your pet. Senior cats and dogs have different nutritional needs than say like puppies or kittens. And
it's just like humans.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And if you're a new pet owner, excuse me, or if you are somebody that has recently started paying attention to what's in not only your food but also your pet's food, then start going to some different websites and researching. And I think Shalon has information on that.
I looked up the apps.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And talk to your veterinarian because your veterinarian is going to make a good recommendation. Now, I also looked up recalls of pet foods. And I have a list. I'm not going to go through it here, but I will link it of 15 pet foods that have never had a recall.
Nice.
Never. Yeah. And in January of 2021, this is the most recent one that I could find. The Midwestern Pet Foods Incorporated had a brand of pet food called Sport Mix that had dogs starting to become sick and they started dying. They had 110 dogs to die and 210 dogs actually got severely ill from, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, aflatoxin, which was at a very toxic level in the dog food, and it was poisoning the dogs. Now, aflatoxin is a byproduct that is produced by the mold Aspergillus flavus. That's actually a pretty common mold, and it can cause things like sinus infection, upper respiratory infections in humans, but it doesn't typically affect humans because we've kind of built up an immunity to it. But if you're somebody that catches a cold easily, or if you're immunocompromised, then that's one of the things that you need to be watching out for.
Well, that mold sounds like a Greek god or something, or somebody.
Yeah.
And if the ingredient, I'm sorry, but if the ingredient in my pet food has toxin in the name of it, I'm probably going to be questioning it.
No, that was
No.
not an ingredient in the food. That was
Oh,
it was found in the food.
oh, okay, okay,
The
okay. I
mold
see what you're saying.
growing
Okay,
in the food.
Yeah.
okay.
And they
I
had
was,
to recall a bunch of food that was put out before July of 2020.
mm-hmm,
And then there was lawsuits and all kinds of things came out about that. And then, Purina's had issues and had to issue recalls. And some of the more common pet foods that are out there have had to recall for different things, like bird flu is one that they've had a recall for, not specifically Purina, but some pet foods, specifically the ones that are like kept in a refrigerator, like Fresh Pet. I don't know if Fresh Pet was one of the ones that had that recall, but bird flu was in it because it had chicken. And the chickens had been exposed to bird flu. So they had to recall
mm-hmm.
the foods that those chickens were in. So Dee Dee has information on the regulatory bodies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, just like people food, pet food is also regulated by the FDA. And just like people food, the FDA has on their website, they say that they ensure that the ingredients used in, and I'm quoting from their website, that the ingredients used in pet food are safe and have an appropriate function in the pet food. Many ingredients such as meat, poultry, and grains are considered safe and do not require a pre-market approval. So if you're putting those in your food, you don't need to get them approved because they're considered safe.
Okay.
Other substances, such as sources of minerals, vitamins, and other nutrients, flavorings, preservatives, or processing aids, may be generally recognized as safe for an intended use. And that's the GRAS part of it.
Okay. So what's a processing aid?
Okay, hold on a second. I got a little tab just on that. Let me get it. Okay, a processing aid um, is used when processing the pet food for commercial sale, such as silica, which can be used to control the porosity of kibble treats. Processing aids in pet food are substances used during the manufacturing of pet food to aid in the production process, but are not intended to be a final ingredient in the finished product. They are often used to improve quality, production efficiency, and product stability.
Okay.
Um, Other examples might be, let me find, cellulose powder, encapsulated sodium bicarbonate, lactic acid, things like that. That's a processing aid. It's not the machines they use; is something they put in to help them process it.
Right. Yeah. I kind of figured that it wasn't the machines, but I wasn't really sure, exactly what it was.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me see, where was I? Generally recognized as safe or GRAS. Um, the FDA's GRAS designation allows food companies to use ingredients without pre-market review if they are widely recognized as safe by qualified experts based on scientific data or experience with common use in food. So that's basically it. Food additives, generally any substance intentionally added to food is considered a food additive and requires FDA review and approval. GRAS exemption would be if a substance is generally recognized as safe, it's exempt from the pre-market review. Let me look, see if there's anything else here that I think. GRAS notification program. The FDA has a GRAS notification program where companies can notify the agency of their conclusion that a substance is generally recognized as safe. While not mandatory, submitting a GRAS notification to the FDA provides an added layer of credibility and allows the agency to review the safety data. Companies can also self-affirm GRAS status by having their safety determination reviews by qualified experts. public and expert scrutiny. The FDA encourages transparency and often makes GRAS notifications publicly available for review, allowing for scrutiny by other experts and the public. So you can go on the FDA website and look up those and find it and see what they have to say about it.
Yeah, I do
So
remember something when we were doing our people food episodes, is that I was honestly surprised that the FDA opened up their reviews and stuff, that the public, you go to the website and tell them what you think.
Yeah.
And it goes before the whatever board is making these decisions. And I was completely surprised by that.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they do. I mean,
doors kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, an example of a GRAS additive might be, I don't know if I can pronounce this or not. Tocopherols. Tocopherols. Tocopherols.
Sure.
And it's used as a preservative, but it's not a preservative in the strictest sense of a preservative, because what it is it's naturally occurring, and it's basically it's vitamin E, and it's used to keep fat and oils in the pet foods from becoming rancid.
Okay.
So it's not technically a preservative, but it is used as a preservative because it can keep those fats and oils from spoiling. So that's just an example of something that's GRAS. Now, while the FDA regulates both pet and human food, the regulations and standards for pet food are not as stringent as those for human food. Now, examples might be that some ingredients that are allowed in pet food but not human food might include certain byproducts and some artificial colors and preservatives. Now, the artificial colors and preservatives, I don't like the sound of that, but animal byproducts, if it's an animal byproduct, that could be like a brain, it could be a heart.
I was going to say it's going to be organs.
Yeah. And you know what? You may think, ooh, gross, but your dog may actually like it.
Well, bologna is an animal byproduct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But the organ of an animal is actually very nutritious.
It is. Yes, it is. So,
well, yes.
But you got to be careful with brain tissue, though, because that can transmit a lot of different things that could lead to neurological disorders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, continuing with the regulations, let's talk a little bit about the ingredients. I wanted a little bit of information about submitting a food additive petition to the FDA. Because if you're going to commercially prepare pet food, what do you have to do to have an additive added to it? And it says that to submit food additive petition to the FDA, you'll need to provide information on the additive's identity, intended use, safety data, and proposed regulations following the FDA guidelines. So if you want to do that, that's what you have to submit to the FDA.
Yeah, let me just interject something here.
Okay.
We just recently talked about the recent ban on red dye 3. Right? West Virginia lawmakers approved a bill prohibiting certain synthetic food dyes that make it the first state to enact such a ban as concerns grow over health effects. And it passed a bill that is banning red 40, yellow 6, and other synthetic dyes from food products, with the measure set to take effect in 2028. It also includes one of the greens and 2 of the blues.
Doesn't California already have this stuff in effect, though?
For red number 3.
Okay.
They were the first one to do red number 3.
But I know California has strict regulations of certain things that are not allowed in things. So, okay.
Yeah. Apparently West Virginia is the first one to take an axe to those big ones. It's not only just red 3 and red 40 and yellow 6. It included 2 of the blues and 1 of the greens. I don't remember their numbers, but I do remember seeing that.
So, that's good.
That surprises me, actually.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. But we do have a large number of nurses and doctors that are in our legislature.
Okay.
So
That's
anyway,
good.
I
That
just
is good.
reject that I am assuming is for people food
Yeah.
for
Most likely.
Virginia. So we could still be seeing those dyes used in our pet foods.
Yeah, but there's no reason why you can't push your legislators to make that different. And I'm going to talk about something here about what states do, because there is an association of American Feed Control Officials, the AAFCO.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this AAFCO does not have the authority to enforce regulations. That authority rests with the states and the FDA.
Okay.
Okay. Because the state is going to have to do a minimum regulation requirement that the FDA requires, but your state can have stricter regulations than the FDA requires. Okay. Now, the AAFCO is a voluntary association of state and federal feed control officials. And you notice I'm using feed here and not food there, because there's a difference between pet food and livestock feed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference.
Does it?
But this AAFCO does help with both.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
I was going to.
um,
It was
Yeah.
just for like cattle feed or horse feed.
no, it's for food for animals. Is
Okay.
basically what it is. Now, it does not regulate, test, approve, or certify pet food, but it establishes model language that states and other governing bodies may adopt into law. So it's basically assistance for states and other governing bodies to develop legislation to protect our pets.
Right. So it's like a resource for them.
Yes.
Okay.
AAFCO's primary function is to develop that model legislation and regulation for animal feed and pet food that the states can use to put into their own laws if they decide to do so. The AAFCO sets standards for labeling, ingredient definitions, and nutritional adequacy, which are often adopted by the states. And then again, just to let people know, the AAFCO does not have the authority to enforce regulation or make the regulations. All they do is, like Karen said, is just like a resource.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Organization that does that.
yeah, it is, because I had no idea it even existed, but I had seen those initials before. I mean, because the state where I live in Tennessee, there's like cattle farmers and stuff. So I've seen this, but I never paid any attention to what it actually was. And now I know, so I learned something new.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Um, Now let me go on with labeling. Okay, because just like on our food, you need to pay attention to that label and what's in it. Pet food labeling is regulated at two levels. The current FDA regulations require proper identification of the product, net quantity statement, name and place of business of the manufacturer or distributor, and proper listing of all ingredients in the product from most to least based on weight. Some states also enforce their own labeling regulations. And many of those regulations are based on a model provided by the AAFCO. Okay. Let me find, I found some information. Let me find it. Okay. 21 Code of Federal Regulation, which is CFR. So 21 CFR 5014 requires that pet food ingredients be listed on the product label by their common or usual name.
Well, no, that's good.
Okay.
Yes. Now, and I'm not going to go into the details on how to read dog food labels, but I do have a website here from the AKC that talks about how to read that label. So I'll share that with Karen so she can share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, my youngest son, he's got a husky, and at one point she had gone. Oh man, she was so skinny, and we kept thinking she's got worms. You know, she's got this, that, and the other. Took her to the vet, and the vet said, "You know what? Just change her food and see if that does anything for her." So he took her from just the standard pet food, dog food, and started paying attention to the protein content. And what he found out was that when she was eating the high protein dog food, anything above 25% protein, she started gaining her weight back. And the vet said, she's kind of like a person that has celiac disease. She cannot digest grain.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to look at the label and be very specific about what percentage of protein and fat that the food is. Because if the grain, the carbohydrate count of the dog food is higher than the fat or the protein, she can't eat it. It makes her sick. She starts throwing up, she gets diarrhea. It's just like she has celiac disease.
Well, I know it's important to make sure your dog or your cat gets proper nutrition, but they're meat eaters, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any pet food you get for your pet that's a meat eater pet, you should buy a food that is more protein than not.
Right.
That's just common sense.
Mm-hmm. And he pays a pretty penny for her food.
Oh, okay. Other additives that you might find in your dog's food is glycerin, and it's a sugar alcohol that is sometimes used as a sweetener and moisture preserver in dog food. Um, so that's just an additive that you might find in it.
I wonder if that contributes to cavities.
I don't know.
They say eating a bunch of sugar contributes to cavities in people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if it does the same thing for dogs and cats.
And then there's an additive called carrageenan.
Carrageenan,
Yeah.
from that.
It's a thickener and stabilizer that's commonly used in canned dog food.
Canned dog.
And yeah, and it says that it has been linked to a variety of health problems in dogs, including digestive issues and even cancer. To keep your dog safe, look for dog foods that do not contain this.
Now that's the one from the bug, right?
I don't know.
It doesn't say where it comes from.
Natural hydrofluid extracted from raw seaweed. Yeah, seaweed, not a bug.
I was like, I don't know.
Raw seaweed. So there's one, it's like a red coloring that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They use it in candies and stuff that we eat, or maybe not we as in us, but people.
Well, you can find carrageenan in people food. They use it in
almond
milk and some
there's meat.
Coffee creamers.
There's also, I believe it's also in some processed meat as well.
So
yeah.
The thought of eating seaweed is not appealing to me at all.
Don't take her to sushi.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've had seaweed with sushi, and what I had was pretty good. What I had was salty. I've even had squid, and it's very salty.
I've tried, me and Arnie went somewhere for dinner one time, and they had an appetizer that had all these different things on it, and you could pick what's put on there. It's like 4 or 5 different things, and neither one of us had tried. I'm pretty sure it was squid.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it on there, and I tried it, and it was like chewing rubber.
They overcooked it.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed, and I finally spit it out, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's why I won't fix eggs in a microwave, because they're rubbery.
Yeah, it does make them rubbery.
Mm-hmm. Another additive might be propylene glycol, which is a synthetic compound that is commonly used as a preservative and flavor enhancer in some commercial dog foods. It has been linked to a variety of health problems in dogs, including anemia, liver damage, and even death. Sometimes you'll find excessive salt and sugar added to your pet's food. So you need to make sure you read that label. And remember, the higher it is on the list of ingredients, the more of that ingredient there is in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have salt, but it's the last ingredient on the list, there's not a whole lot of salt in it, or sodium, or whatever however they talk about it. I
don't think any as actual salt.
Well, no, it may not be actual salt, but
oh yeah,
peanuts listed as salt.
That's
salt
true.
And peanuts.
That's true. Potato chips. Okay.
Now, artificial colors that are allowed in animal food will include. Let me find it here. Blue 1, blue 2, green 3, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6.
All those ones that are getting ready to get outlawed by
Yeah.
the entire
But
country.
here's the thing, your
Entire
but
country.
here's the thing. Your pet doesn't care what color its food is.
No.
Doesn't care what shape it is. So don't do that just because you think it's cute and because oh I like the red. No, your dog doesn't care. So or your cat.
All right. I did a general search pet food apps. There are pet food apps that will help you with ordering your pet's food. So you can mail order it. You don't have to pick it up. There is an app called Safe Pet Treats, Cats and Dog Food. It can be used for all pet food products, not just treats. The app features a scan barcode so it can identify the brand and everything that's in it as long as it's
Guess what I'm getting ready to download?
been registered.
Listen, the Yuka app does not do dog food.
Right. So it's basically the Yuka app for pet food. It will identify harmful pet food ingredients found in dogs and cat foods by scanning it. And it also identifies FDA recalls.
Woo, nice.
Isn't that neat?
Yes.
It's called Safe Pet Treats, Cat and Dog Food.
Hang on. What did I do with my phone?
I was like, you put it up here. So.
Okay. Let me go do that while you talk.
Yeah, you download it.
I'll screen record and put in some stuff here.
You scan a treat bag or something. See what it says. I currently have no pets. So
okay, I'm in the Play Store. Up here you can see where I put in Safe Pet Treats app. And right here it is, Safe Pet Treats, Cats and Dogs. I'm going to open it because I've already downloaded it. I don't allow notifications, and you can see that it is a start your free trial. And then they want your credit card information. So I don't do that. But Safe Pet Treats, if you want to pay for it, there you go.
there's also an app called Chewy.
That's the one that sends you the dog food and stuff, right?
Right.
In the mail.
Right. But it also it helps you with ordering and being able to personalize your pet's nutrition. So, all right, some other ones that can use to be scanned. That one is the one that is popping up on the top of the list when you're searching currently. So they must be paying for extra advertisement.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's see. Pawdi, Pawdi, offers unlimited scans and aims to help pet parents make better nutritional choices. You want to look that one up?
I landed on one called Pet Food Experts.
Okay.
100 plus downloads.
Yeah. See, this is new.
It's new. It is.
Yeah.
Here's some websites that I came across when I was just doing my stuff. One of them is called Cat Food Advisor. And I don't want to allow this cookies on my thing, but your number one resource for cat food advice, reviews, and the latest food recalls. And also there's one called Dog Food Advisor, which does the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there's one called Pet Food Sherpa. Now, Sherpa is a guide. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what that means. Yeah. It's not just the fleecy jacket and hat. All right. This right here says there's no substitute for high quality nutrition that meets your pet's unique needs, but choosing the right food can be a challenge. With so many options on the market and so many factors to consider, you could spend hours, days, or even months looking for the right food. Oh no. Anyway, this site will help you narrow down what it is that you're looking for. You choose whether you have a dog or a cat, the age range, the breed size, their weight, and the budget that you are working with. And it will make recommendations for you.
That is cool.
That is cool. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they have an app.
Are you okay?
And the dog food
and
bag.
a dog food bag that you just refilled.
Yeah. Now this is a new food. We're trying out some different foods for him because my gosh, is he picky when he eats. This food is, what is it called?
Natural Balance.
Natural Balance. I got this at the pet store. Original Ultra Abundance in Every Bowl. Chicken and barley recipe. Broth coated kibble. Where's it work? Product not found. We've received this product submission and we'll add it to our database soon. All right. How cool is that? Now, we have this one. This is one of the treats that we give him. It's Bill and Jack. Mm-hmm. Grain-free, soft training treats for dogs. So let's see if they have this one. Oh, it's got an 86 out of 100 rating. Let me see if I can. If you can't read this, I will put it up on the screen.
Yeah, it's a little hard to read.
Yeah, I'll post a clearer picture. I will go ahead and screenshot this.
This food actually has quite a bit of ingredients.
Yeah, it does.
But, I mean, going by the picture, if it's got peas and carrots and blueberries and spinach and cranberries in it, along with chicken.
And barley and broth. So, does it list salt? The next one that I'm going to scan is...
It lists sodium.
Blue Diamond. Is that what that is?
It is.
No, Blue Buffalo. Yeah, well, it's a diamond shape. Yeah. Blue Buffalo.
Okay.
Soft and chewy training treats. Well, let me tell you something. These treats are neither soft nor chewy. I don't know how old they are. Best by February of 2026. So they should be soft and chewy, but they're not. This one also has an 86 out of 100. And the last one, this is from a brand called Sentry. Now, my dog Flynn has severe separation anxiety.
He's a nervous boy.
He's very nervous. These are calming chews.
Do they have THC in them?
Well, CBD. No, it's got chamomile, thiamine, valerian, L-tryptophan, theanine, lavender, and some kind of a pheromone. Oh, no, that's not what this Sentry calming chews. Okay, I don't know what that picture is.
I don't know.
Anyway, this one gets an 82 out of 100. It's got a 6 out of 10 for ingredient quality, 28 of 40 for nutritional value, and 10 of 10 for their transparency for what they list as being in here.
Nice. Something to also look for is things that have been third-party tested. Just like with people, stuff like vitamins and nutritional supplements.
Yeah. Okay. I so far I've scanned what, 4 things, and I like this app so far. So I'm going to take it to the store the next time we go. I like it so far. It works surprisingly like the Yuka app.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the time and the money, you can make your own dog's food. You can get recipes.
Yes.
So I have shared a homemade dog treat recipe. I've never made them. I don't know how easy they are or anything like that, but it uses a pound of ground beef.
Yeah, well, I
It
just
does
make
have,
treats using what was it? Peanut butter and
Pumpkin?
pumpkin.
yes, and I'm still looking, so I'm going to share a few more. And
Yeah.
there were some that had pumpkin in them, so I'm looking for those.
Yeah, but I made the mistake of using like a grown-up person cookie cutter, right? It's shaped like a bone, it's really cute. And for my dog, that's entirely too big.
That worked for my dog.
Huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked for my youngest son's dogs. And because there's no grain in it, it was okay for his husky to eat it. So I went ahead and gave those to him. But unfortunately, my favorite craft store is closing down. That is Joann's Fabrics and Crafts. But they're having a clearance, trying to get rid of everything. And I found some cookie cutters. And there's one of cookie cutter like about this big around. And that's the size treats I need for my dog. Yeah, okay. But you had a treat that uses hamburger?
Yes, ground beef.
So you have to refrigerate it after it's cooked?
Or is it dried?
I didn't look. I've not looked at that because I don't have time to make treats for the dogs we have, and the dogs we have, even though two of them are puppies, they're going to need big treats.
I'll try it.
Yeah. So this is the first time I've ever looked into making homemade dog treats. I've never done it before. I've never even looked into doing it before. So I just thought I'd go online and find some and share with you so you could.
For dogs.
Yeah. What's that?
I got a whole thing on Pinterest for my dogs.
She's got a board.
Oh yeah, that's boards. I have a Pinterest board for dogs.
I didn't get the green memo.
I'm sorry? Oh, green.
Oh.
Green. Blue. I mean, it's kind of, we're color wheel coordinated.
Sure.
That's all right.
Yeah. It's all right. There's always got to be an oddball. So today that's you, Sissy.
That's me.
So next week, we are going to be discussing extreme survival.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about different topics associated with extreme survival, like what the body will go through during starvation and dehydration, people who you can learn from as far as survival skills go for being able to survive in the woods if you get lost in the redwood forest or something. And Shalon's going to talk about one specific episode that happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to get into next week. Until then, always learn something new.
Yes, that's our thing.
That's our thing. All right. I love you, Dee Dee.
Love you, Sissy.
Mwah.
Both of you. Bye.
Bye. And that's our thing, too.
Yeah.